Hello, Tamara Green here for A Course in Miracles lesson number 39. We're going to do a breathing technique where we breathe into the count of 4, but we breathe out in the count of 6. We slow down the exhale. All right, here we go. We're going to do 6 all together. So breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. That should feel good because you activate the vagus nerve to the brain, which then releases the feel-good hormones. It's a good breathing technique to do. All right. A Course in Miracles, lesson 39. My holiness is my salvation. If guilt is hell, what is the opposite? Like the text for which this textbook was written, the ideas used for the exercises are very simple, very clear, and totally unambiguous. We are not concerned with intellectual feats nor logical toys. We are dealing only with the very obvious, which has been overlooked in the clouds of complexity in which you think you think. If guilt is hell, what is the opposite? This is not difficult, surely. The hesitation you may feel in answering is not due to the ambiguity of the question. But do you believe that guilt is hell? If you did, you would see at once how direct and simple the text is, and you would not need a workbook at all. No one needs practice to gain what is already his. We have already said that your holiness is the salvation of the world. What about your own salvation? You cannot give what you do not have. A Savior must be saved. How else can he teach salvation? Today's exercise will apply to you recognizing that your salvation is crucial to the salvation of the world. As you apply the exercises to your world, the whole world stands to benefit. Your holiness is the answer to every question that was ever asked, is being asked now, or will be asked in the future. Your holiness means the end of guilt and therefore the end of hell. Your holiness is the salvation of the world and your own. How could you, to whom your holiness belongs, be excluded from it? God does not know unholiness. Can it be he does not know his Son? A full 5 minutes are urged for the 4 longer practice periods for today, and longer and more frequent practice sessions are encouraged. If you want to exceed the minimum requirements, more than longer sessions are recommended, although both are suggested. Begin the practice periods as usual by repeating today's idea to yourself. Then, with closed eyes, search out your own unloving thoughts in whatever form they appear: uneasiness, depression, anger, fear, worry, attack, insecurity, and so on. Whatever form they take, they are unloving and therefore fearful. And so it is from them that you need to be saved. Specific situations, events, or personalities you associate with unloving thoughts of any kind are suitable subjects for today's exercises. It is imperative for your salvation that you see them differently, and it is your blessing on them that will save you and give you vision. Slowly, without conscious selection and without undue emphasis on any one in particular, search your mind for every thought that stands between you and your own salvation. Apply the idea for today to each of them in this way. My unloving thoughts about blank are keeping me in hell. My holiness is my salvation. You may find these practice periods easier if you intersperse them with several short periods during which you merely repeat today's idea to yourself slowly a few times. You may also find it helpful to include a few short intervals in which you just relax and do not seem to be thinking of anything. Sustained concentration is very difficult at first. It will become much easier if your mind becomes more disciplined and less distractible. Meanwhile, you should feel free to introduce variety into the exercise periods in whatever form appeals to you. Do not, however, change the idea itself as you vary the method of applying it. However you elect to use it, the idea should be stated so that its meaning is the fact that your holiness is your salvation. In each practice period, by repeating the idea in its original form once more and adding, if guilt is hell, what is its opposite? In the shorter applications, which should be made some 3 or 4 times an hour and more if possible, you may ask yourself this question. Repeat today's idea and preferably both. If temptation arise, a particularly helpful form of the idea is, my holiness is my salvation from this. Okay, my holiness is my salvation. So I really recently read a quote that enlightenment is not learned. It is an unlearning. We are created holy, enlightened, pure love. But then over the years, we're taught, we are indoctrinated that we are not holy and we are not love. We are not enlightened. We are not perfect as God created us. So it's the unlearning of that, the de-indoctrination of all of that is where we come back to the truth of who we really are, which is our salvation. And then therefore that has an amazing ripple effect, which then reaches out to the world and becomes the salvation of the world, all of us together. So I have a little story about this. I was 5 years old. I'm in my childhood home on the living room floor playing jacks, my favorite game. And this benevolent, wonderful, booming voice came out and surrounded me in every corner of the room saying, "Who are you?" And I remember standing up straight with a big smile on my face and saying, "I am love." I'll never forget it. And the feeling of pure divine warmth and love just surrounded me in that moment as I absolutely knew who I was without a shred of doubt. And then I went back to playing jacks. But then move forward now, a few decades, and I'm in a personal growth course. And the exercise for that day, or that morning actually, was they broke the room up into 2, so we were partnered up. And it was my turn to say, I am happy to be me. But you couldn't move on to the next exercise until you absolutely, without a shred of doubt, where you just completely embodied the words, the concept, everything, I am happy to be me. And 8 hours later, my poor partner, I could not land. I am happy to be me. I didn't feel like I had any reason to be happy with me, to be happy to be me. And it wasn't until the following day we finally gave up and we went to our hotel rooms and slept, and I came back in and we started again because I couldn't move on. We couldn't move on until I landed, I am happy to be me. And about an hour and a half in that morning, I was saying, I am happy to be me. And that vision of me being 5 and jumping up with a big smile on my face and saying, I am love, without a shred of doubt. That was the moment. I completely embodied it. I felt it in every cell of my being, that was the truth. That is the truth. I am love, therefore I am happy. Therefore I am holy. And that moment was a huge turnaround in terms of my own salvation. So I'm not claiming that I'm enlightened, but I am unlearning more and more and more and more, which is eventually leading me to my enlightenment, and will do the same for you. All right. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.